9 civilians, including 6 children, have reportedly been killed by a Saudi air raid on a small village in the east of Yemen. Just to warn you, the video contains graphic footage. 5 people were also injured in the raid that took place on Friday night. That's as the Saudi coalition is blocking attempts to send aid to the devastated cities of Yemen. The Red Cross claims 3 shipments of aid and medical staff are being held back by the Saudi-led coalition despite appeals to let the help through. The UN has published an alarming report on the situation in the country. Well, it says that in the past 2 weeks, as many as 519 people have been killed and almost 2,000 wounded in Yemen. 90 children are among the dead. Tens of thousands have also been forced to flee their homes. That's as Saudis have started pouring more arms into the conflict. This time, weapons are being airdropped on the positions of the loyalist forces in the besieged town of Aden. But there are concerns the flow of new armaments could land in the hands of terrorists. Just yesterday, alleged al-Qaeda militants captured a Yemeni army base in the port city of Muqam. Local reports say the jihadists killed at least 5 soldiers and ransacked the base's ammunition store. Well, for more, I'm now joined live by Hassan Al-Haifi, political analyst from Sanaa. Thanks so much for joining us, sir. So the Saudi coalition is now airdropping armaments for loyalists. However, in neighboring Iraq and Syria, similar methods brought unwanted consequences. We've seen videos where such arms drops were plundered by Islamic State militants. Could that happen now in Yemen? What do you think?
Well, the militants who are now getting those weapons are actually Al-Qaeda and Hadi supporters, are supporters of Abdurrabbu Hadi Mansour, the resigned president of who's now in Saudi Arabia. They know that. They know that very well, that these are Al-Qaeda people. I mean, they're not worried about that at all. And what I have heard is, I've checked into this, that some of those arms are falling into both the Yemeni government and, loyal and Houthi and the Popular Committee troops who are fighting with them. And some are, of course, landing with the rebels or the Houthi or the Hadi supporters. Now, don't try to separate. There is no distinction between Hadi supporters and Al-Qaeda fighters. So.
Yeah, but at the same time, despite the bombing raids, Houthi rebels are still continuing their advance. And
yes,
in the case of what about the airstrikes? I mean, what do they achieve in the end then?
For Yemen, Yemen is well, at least for all of Yemen, these airstrikes are hitting. Yes, they are hitting mainly civilians. They are not hitting at all the military strength of the government or the Houthis. You have to also remember that airstrikes, they can strike all night and all day. If you remember, in the 1962 war between the Egyptians and the who were supporting the Republic and the Yemeni tribesmen who supported the royalists, the Egyptians bombed day and night, and they could not do anything to quell royalist tribesmen.
Yeah, but also we have to take into account another player here, which is Al-Qaeda, and Al-Qaeda is also gaining ground in the country south, as we know. So why is it that Riyadh and his partners are overlooking that?
Well, you must bear in mind that Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, is ideologically linked with Al-Qaeda. They are all both Wahhabis. And there should never be any effort to try to separate them. The Saudis support all these movements: Al-Qaeda, ISIL, even Boko Haram, the Shabab in Kenya, who just killed 147 people. They are all ideologically and religiously tied with Saudi, and financially tied with Saudi Arabia. You cannot distinguish between them. These claims of Saudis or fighting terrorists are all, surface propaganda lies, no more or less, just to escape being accused. But otherwise, they are really supporters of all these movements you see all over the world: ISIL, Boko Haram, Shabab, Al-Qaeda in Arabian Peninsula. These names are fly-by-night names. They are just cover for all the same ideological persuasion, which is the
All right,
same as the
Mr.
ideology.
Al-Hayfi, that's all we have the time for. Unfortunately, we have to leave it there, but thanks so much for giving us your thoughts on this issue there. Hassan Al-Hayfi, political analyst, talking to us live.